Hello, everyone. My name is Matt Arant from Arant Academic Planning. This is another installment of a virtual information session series in which I'm joined by admission representatives from schools all across the United States, Canada, and Europe. These schools represent a wide variety of institutions for you and your family to consider as you begin the college search process, from liberal arts colleges to state research institutions, religiously affiliated schools, women's colleges, men's colleges, and everything in between. And today I'm joined by Julia Hall from Syracuse University. So, Julia, take it away.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to share a little bit more about Syracuse University, so we can go ahead and dive right in. Like I mentioned, my name is Julia. I'm an assistant director of admissions. My territories are the Austin area, San Antonio, San Francisco Bay Area. I also do the Seattle area, and then this year I'm also covering Tampa and Orlando, but happy to help in any capacity at all. I'll also be linking my information at the end of this presentation, so feel free to contact me with any questions that you might have. So before we get started, I'd like to share a little bit about why I chose Syracuse, because I am a Syracuse alum. I graduated in 2019 with my bachelor's in human development and family sciences. And now I'm working back at Syracuse because I have just the most amazing experience here at Syracuse. I chose Syracuse because I was looking for a school that I could have a lot of pride in, that had a lot of really great community with the big school energy, but the support of that close community. And that's exactly what I found here at Syracuse. All right. So around here, orange is a pretty big deal. It was officially named our colors in 1890. Since then, it is way more than just a color. It truly is a way of life. Syracuse is home to about 15,000 undergraduate students who are bold, passionate, and ready to make an impact. Here, you can customize your education, gain real-world experience, and create connections that will last a lifetime. Being a part of the Orange family means that you're able to lead in any industry and really stick out from the crowd. If you came to campus and was on tour today, you would notice that campus is kind of set up like a bullseye, the quad in the center, academic buildings surrounding that, and then residence halls on the outer ring. You'll also notice that no two buildings look alike. This is all a part of Syracuse's charm. We really embrace creativity, even in our architecture. Most of our buildings were actually built by some of our architecture alum, coincidentally. You'll also see that building right there in the center is the Hall of Languages. That was our first building built on campus. It's a Syracuse tradition that every student, regardless of their major, will take a class in this building. Syracuse is home to a lot of rich history and traditions, just like that one. You'll also notice the JMA Dome over there in the corner. This is affectionately known as our Loud House. This houses Division I football, basketball, lacrosse, concerts, and a whole lot of school spirit. We're also proud to have some pretty notable alumni, from former President Joe Biden to Dick Clark to Mike Tirico, who was just on campus recently for graduation. So at Syracuse, our students find their home in one of our 10 schools and colleges. You'll be taught by professors who are top of your field, even some Nobel Prize winners. We're nationally ranked in a wide area of study that you can see over there on the side. If you're undecided, totally okay. 7 of our 10 schools and colleges offer undecided tracks, so you can feel supported while you decide what's right for you. Our College of Arts and Sciences is our largest college on campus. This is home to 50 of our 200 majors. If you are completely undecided, have no idea what you want to do, it might be a good idea to apply undecided into the College of Arts and Sciences. Since we are a liberal arts university, all students, regardless of their major, will have to take courses within the College of Arts and Sciences. On your application, you're going to list a first choice option. You're then going to have the option to list a second choice program. We do recommend that your first and second choice option be in separate schools, because we typically will review by school or college, with the exception of some programs that require something supplemental, like an audition or a portfolio. So one of the best things about Syracuse is how much freedom you have to explore. With 200 majors and 100 minors, we really encourage our students to mix and match. So maybe you're an architecture student who wants to get a minor in real estate, or you're an education student who wants to get a minor in dance. That sort of cross-disciplinary study really is the norm at Syracuse. So much so that over half of our students have more than one program of study, whether that's a dual major between colleges, a double major, multiple minors. We even have accelerated options, so you can get your bachelor's and master's in just as little as 5 years. Syracuse has an average class size of 26 with a 15-to-1 student to faculty ratio. We really try and keep things very small and hands-on. 90% of your classes will have less than 50 students, and about 64% will have less than 20. So again, we are a mid-sized university, but we really value that individualized education. So at Syracuse, we're truly invested in you from day one. Each of our schools and colleges have their own academic advising team, career advising team. You're even given a peer advisor your first year to help guide you throughout that first year. You're also given an advisor if you decide to do a pre-professional track. So maybe that's pre-health, pre-dental, pre-vet, pre-law. Make sure that you're getting all the requirements you need to then go on further after your undergrad. If you're undecided, totally okay. I came into Syracuse undecided. I got the freedom to explore throughout my entire first year. Even into my sophomore year, I was able to explore a little bit. I switched my major twice and still graduated in 4 years. There's a statistic that around 50% of college students will change their major, and then around 50% of that cohort will actually change it again. So our academic advisors are very equipped for this. With 200 majors, we almost encourage you to go a little bit outside of your major and see what else is out there. We also have a very massive global alumni community that likes to come back and help out our current students. One of the biggest draws to Syracuse is that global alumni community. We have alumni that have worked at places like JP Morgan, Condé Nast, ESPN, Warner Music, just to name a few. If anyone's ever seen that Prime Video series, We Were Liars, that came out last summer, that actually had quite a few Syracuse alum behind that as well. So our alumni always like to come back and help out our current students. If you're from the Syracuse area, which I'm sure a lot of you are not, you've probably heard a little bit about Micron. If you haven't, Micron is the leading semiconductor manufacturer in the Northern Hemisphere, and they're building their newest and largest plant just 9 miles from the university itself. This $100 billion project is projected to be 40 times the size of the dome. So if you ever get a chance to visit the dome, you're going to see just how massive that plant actually is. It's projected to bring 9,000 jobs to the area just from the plant, and then a 60% increase in Syracuse's population over the next decade. We are Micron's leading higher education partners. Look to us first when it comes to those internships and jobs that they're looking to fill. So how do we get you ready for the real world? Syracuse is an R1 D1 institution. So that's basically like being Division I in sports, but in research. Our students will work on research sometimes as early as their first year with our faculty members. We have students that have worked on immigration policy, diabetes treatment, sustainable fashion, just to name a few. We also have a program called The Source, which provides $2 million in student-funded research each year. So if there's something that you want to bring to the table, we absolutely encourage that. We also have a program called the Blackstone Launchpad, which is our on-campus entrepreneurship hub. Here you can launch startups, create business plans, even compete for funding. We've actually had quite a few Syracuse alum featured on Shark Tank. So if you've ever heard of Scrub Daddy, that little smiley face sponge, he was actually a Syracuse alum. It said that he came up with that right here on campus. I believe his daughter goes to Syracuse now, so she's a pretty active alumni as well. For any aerospace engineering students in general, we have a NASA-approved flight simulator on our campus. You can actually test out theories and learn to fly planes. So Syracuse has one of the top 10 study abroad programs in the country with 5 of our own centers. And then we have partners in over 60 different countries. So you're able to go pretty much wherever you'd like across the world. Syracuse is very special to me because I was able to travel all over Europe while being a student at Syracuse. All of my financial aid went with me and my scholarships. I just had to pay, obviously, for any extra expenses that I wanted to do while I was over there. I got to stay with a host family in Madrid, Spain. My host dad was a retired chef, so I got some of the best food around. Being in Madrid, Spain, that is one of the Syracuse's centers. So I was taught by Syracuse professors on a Syracuse campus just in Madrid, Spain. We really encourage our students to go abroad, so much so that over half of our students will study abroad compared to the national average, which is only about 12 to 13%. So again, having that global experience is all a part of what it means to be a part of the Orange family. Outside of international hubs, we also have 3 domestic hubs right within the United States. We have one in Washington, D.C., one in New York City, and then one in Los Angeles. Students interested in management, architecture, theater typically head down to New York, while our students interested in entertainment usually flock to LA. And we have quite a few Maxwell students interested in government, law, policy that are actually interning right on Capitol Hill right now with some of our nation's leaders, which is pretty incredible. So like I mentioned in the beginning, my favorite part about Syracuse is the big school experience with the support of a close community. Syracuse has over 350 different clubs and organizations, from a cappella groups, intramural sports, club sports, Greek life, professional and social. We have an involvement fair that happens twice a year, once in the fall and once in the spring. We really encourage students to get out there. It's a great way for them to kind of experience campus and get to know other students who have the same interests in them as them. Being a student at Syracuse, our typical student is very involved, so we are going to look for that in an application as well. Syracuse has such a strong sense of community. We want to encourage our students to get involved in campus and be a part of that community in any way possible. We also have events called Orange After Dark, which put on free late night events for students throughout the year. They'll go to indoor water parks. They'll go to ski and snowboard resorts. They'll also do some Dave and Buster's, trampoline parks, just to name a few. We also have some pretty big name concerts that will come to the Dome. We've had Billy Joel about 7 times. We've had Doechii, Fetty Wap, Drake. We've had the Chainsmokers. We've had Chance the Rapper, just to name a few. We have 2 mini music festivals that Syracuse will put on, one in the fall and one in the spring. This is just specifically to Syracuse students as well. We also are a Division I powerhouse when it comes to athletics, so our students will definitely attend those games. One of my favorite memories being a Syracuse student is attending a Syracuse youth game where we actually beat the record for attendance. John Gillen hit a buzzer beater 3 and we all stormed the court. It was a memory that will last me a lifetime. Syracuse is also a residential campus, so you are required to live on campus for 2 years. After that, you are able to move off campus or stay on campus. It's typically a 50-50 split between whether students will stay on or move off. We also have 30+ living learning communities. Those living learning communities make it so you're able to actually attend class and live with students who have the same major or the same interests as you as well. This can make the transition to college a little bit easier for those coming in with a little unease on what college is going to be like. It just gives you that little extra support. You're not secluded from the rest of incoming first years coming in. You're actually just given a residence hall that part of a floor is actually dedicated to the living learning community, and the other part is just students that are coming in with a roommate or random, so you're able to socialize with everything. So just a quick snapshot to reiterate what life is like on campus. Of course, in the corner there, you're going to see the JMA Dome that we talked about a little bit. The JMA Dome is the largest college basketball arena in the country, so we beat the record for attendance each year. It also houses our men's Division I lacrosse team, which has the most national titles in the country. To the left of that, you're going to see the Barnes Center. So the Barnes Center is our hub for all things health. It has a 4-story rock climbing wall, a full-size swimming pool, an S-shaped hot tub. On the other side, it has a full-size pharmacy, full-size doctor's office, massage therapy, pet therapy, UV light therapy, a mind spa. I pretty much call it like an all-inclusive resort over there. It is pretty impressive. If you ever get a chance to visit, definitely check that out. Below that is, of course, Syracuse winters, we are no stranger to the cold and the snow. Syracuse was actually named the snowiest city in upstate New York the past 3 years running. We compete with some other big cities in upstate New York. Our mayor has a golden snowball trophy in her office, so we're pretty proud of that title. Syracuse does a really great job of making sure that students get to and from class with ease. We actually have some heated sidewalks around campus, so the snow will come down and melt immediately, which really helps out our facilities team. The snow does not slow down our students. It's a Syracuse tradition that our students will sled down the Krause Hill on anything but a sled, so our students get pretty creative. They'll also take trips to, like I mentioned before, ski resorts and snowboarding resorts, so we make the most of the snow here at Syracuse. Over to the side of that is going to be Autothon, which is our 24-hour dance marathon. It raises money for Dallas Autonomous Children's Hospital, and just last year we raised about $110,000. So what comes next? You're going to apply early decision, regular decision, or early action. Although that's not on the slide, we did just bring that into fruition this year. So early decision is binding with two caveats. One of it being that you are admitted to you're not admitted to your first choice program, or if you get your financial aid package back and it makes the cost of attendance not affordable. So this is a little bit different from some other universities. A lot of students will not apply early decision because they're afraid that it will not be affordable for them. At Syracuse, it's as easy as sending an email to us, letting us know that the cost of attendance is not affordable, and we'll go ahead and withdraw your application. Early action is not binding. That just means that you get all your materials in early on, and then you'll get a decision a little bit earlier. So that's going to be the difference between early decision and early action. And then, of course, we also have regular decision. You'll find out around mid-March, and you need to have everything in by January 1st. We take a holistic approach when it comes to reading applications, so we're going to look at everything. We're going to look at rigor of your coursework, GPA. We're going to look at teachers' letter recommendations, your extracurriculars. Like I mentioned before, a typical Syracuse student is very involved, so we like to see that as well. We are test optional through the spring of 2028. We do make this decision yearly, so if you are beyond the spring of 2028, you will get communication if you are on our listserv through email when we do decide moving forward. If you're not on our listserv, please reach out to the email at the end of this presentation and we will get you added to that as well. Syracuse does take demonstrated interest into consideration, so if you ever come for a campus visit, you see us at a college fair, a high school visit, make sure you're always filling out the contact card because we do take that into consideration. We also will do personal interviews, which will also go towards that interest in Syracuse as well. About 82% of our students will receive some sort of financial aid or scholarships. So Syracuse gives out about $395 million yearly in grants and scholarships. You're automatically considered for merit-based scholarships upon applying. So there's no separate application that needs to be done. And then you'll fill out the FAFSA and the CSS profile for any sort of other aid that's coming as well. So now that you've heard a lot from me, I'm going to play a quick video with some recent alumni about why they love Syracuse as well.
I think being orange means to share an experience. There's so much at Syracuse University that's, you can get nowhere else.
The biggest takeaway from my experience at Syracuse University is that sense of community that I've experienced since I've been here.
One thing that surprised me about my time at SU is how close-knit such a large community could be.
I was able to connect with so many peers from around the world, and it is such a wonderful community to be a part of.
Everyone here is so incredibly smart and are always doing great things. Meeting them and interacting with them has definitely pushed me to want to be greater.
We have some of the most incredible faculty members around. The care and compassion they put into their work teaching and guiding and mentoring us has been invaluable to me.
Seeing how much they believe in me, it has really grown my own confidence.
And I feel really prepared going into the workforce as well as the military.
I realize now that I'm a much better person because of Syracuse University. Learning how to have better character, being a better human being, that's what Syracuse is all about.
When you leave the university, you don't sever your ties at Syracuse, right? And so we have a family moving forward.
I am so excited to be an SU alumni and really try to give back to the community that gave me so much.
I thought about that a lot. I feel like I'm gonna be so excited. It's like being able to rep like the biggest, coolest club in the world.
Being orange means that Syracuse is everywhere.
Driving down the road, I'll see a car with a sticker on it, the Block S, and I'll say, okay, like that's my community, that's where I'm from.
It makes you feel like you're not just part of something now, but like I'm always going to be a part of this for the rest of my life.
What's your favorite memory?
Oh my gosh, my favorite memory. I have so many favorite memories.
I think my favorite memory at Syracuse, not one specific day, but every first day of spring, and the vibe on campus is just incredible.
My favorite memories are always Syracuse Welcome Week, feeling that exciting and ecstatic energy of the fall semester.
This women's basketball season, I attended the game against Florida State where the Asia Fair just absolutely went off.
I studied abroad and it was an awesome experience. I really learned a lot about myself going into new challenges and how when I open my mind to new things or when I go and explore something new, it can really bring a fresh perspective to everything I'm looking at across my life.
After graduation, I am going to be working with the Detroit Tigers as a baseball analytics associate.
I've actually joined the founding team of a digital content creation startup here actually in Syracuse.
After graduation, I plan to go to grad school to continue my pursuits in electrical engineering, hopefully go to the Air Force and one day become an astronaut.
My plans after graduation is moving to New York City. I'm a woman at Dior mentee with UNESCO.
I'm going to be moving to Tampa, Florida, working for PNC Bank.
I'm going to grad school and I'm going to be studying big data.
I'm going to commission as an engineer officer in the Army Reserves.
I'm glad I went here. I wouldn't have chosen anything else, so I'm going to be proud to rep this school.
These past 4 years have been life-changing.
I would just honestly have so much gratitude for everything that this experience here at Syracuse has done for me.
Everyone here has done really unique and incredible things.
Take that experience, take those opportunities, and use them in a way that you can have a positive impact on the world.
To me, being orange is a culmination of all the things that I've learned here. It's about giving back to the community. It's about being the best leader that I could be. It's about being the best person that I could be and saying, okay, how can we make the world a better place? We have the power to do that.
Syracuse University will stay with me because of people and memories. At the end of the day, it's what you bring with you. You can't bring this university with you, but you'll bring those friendships and those memories for the rest of your life.
Fun to keep playing, but
I think being orange means.
the last slide is actually just my contact information and the admissions office contact information. One of my favorite quotes from that little video is, you feel like you're being able to rep the biggest, coolest club in the world. And that's exactly what it feels like being a Syracuse alum and a Syracuse student. So if you ever get a chance to come to campus, I would love to meet with you. Some of my colleagues would love to meet with you and just show you around and hopefully get that same vibe. Like I mentioned, our phone number is up there, our regular admissions email, and then below that is my personal email if you want to reach out to me directly. I'm happy to help with anything. And then I think there's a few questions that I can help answer.
Yes, thank you very much, Julia. So I think I have three questions, not too much. So the first one had to do with, excuse me, the early decision kind of caveats, right? You mentioned that if they don't get into their first choice major or field of study, and then if they said I can't afford it, I was wondering, you just said they sent an email saying I can't afford it. Is it that simple, or do they need to provide any sort of supporting documentation? Because I'm thinking if you have their financial aid information, you see the FAFSA and CSS profile, and their student aid index is through the roof, but then they say, "Oh, I can't afford it." Like, how does that? How do those conversations go if it doesn't
Yeah.
really kind of match up what they're saying?
Yeah, so at Syracuse, we kind of just take your word for it. We're
Okay.
not going to make you provide any sort of documentation. It's just really as easy as sending over an email. We know that financial cost is a really huge deal when it comes to choosing what college is right for you. So if you decide with your family that maybe there's a college that's offering you a huge scholarship and you just can't turn it up,
Hmm.
or the cost of attendance is not affordable, we know that families have changing circumstances. I just recently worked very closely with a family who unfortunately had lost a parent and it didn't show in their last FAFSA. So we get that those things happen. So it's easy as sending an email and we will go ahead and withdraw your application. But I always like to mention that because I know that's different for other schools
Yeah.
and a big reason why a lot of students won't apply there.
Hmm. Okay. And then, so you mentioned that you cover parts of Texas, right, and Florida. Those are places that see snow rarely, and if it is, it's a national panic kind of ensues, even though it's a local thing. So when you're talking to those families to look at a place like Syracuse, it has all the academic fits and everything, but it's a complete 180 climate wise and what they're used to. I guess how do you talk to them about the adjustment process or period going from a place like a Texas or a Florida or even a California to upstate New York? I know you mentioned kind of how they're on the ball in terms of snow removal, but like just a general kind of sense of how do those non-northeastern, non-snow bunny students adjust to a school in an area that is pretty can have some pretty punishing winters.
Yeah, that's a really great question. So we like to be really upfront about what the weather is like because obviously making a big decision like where you're going to college, those things matter. So if you really hate the snow and the cold, Syracuse probably isn't the place for you. But I can tell you, I grew up in upstate New York and I am very used to the snow and the cold, but I still don't love it. I decided that when I was looking at the college all different colleges, I thought I for sure wanted to go somewhere south. And then I took a tour of Syracuse and I absolutely fell in love with it. And I decided, you know what, I'm gonna look past the snow because of just how much I love this place. So I would definitely recommend to people just coming for a visit. You may surprise yourself on, even though it does snow, you may just love Syracuse just as much as I did and look past that. We also have students who grew up in the South and are itching to come up and get that snow experience and
Yep.
go sledding for the first time or go skiing, go snowboarding. And Syracuse is definitely that place. You're definitely going to have those opportunities. My advice, get a heavy winter jacket. And once you have a heavy winter jacket, you'll be fine. Like I mentioned, campus does not slow down for the snow. We do just as much in the snow, sometimes even more than we do when it's not snowing. So there isn't going to be any setbacks when it comes to any sort of campus activity, events, social life, academics, experiential learning, anything like that.
Mhm.
The snow really does not put up a roadblock.
Yeah. And then it's kind of related to that, but maybe a little bit not. But in terms of like living on campus versus off campus, right? You said it's a 50-50 split after those, you said first 2 years, correct?
Yep.
So for those folks that live off campus, is it is it just them finding an apartment in Syracuse? Does Syracuse have do they own certain properties that is off campus technically, but it's still affiliated with the school? How does that work for those students looking for the off-campus options as upper class students?
Yeah. So that's a great question. For the most part, you are dealing with different landlords. Typically, there are landlords around Syracuse that primarily just work with students.
Hmm.
So like I mentioned, a 50-50 split, whether you're staying on campus or you're moving off. Syracuse does own property on our south campus, which has more apartment style living, but we still consider that living on campus. So I actually did all of the different housing. My first year, I was in a double room. My sophomore year, I was in a suite. After that, I moved to South Campus and was in the South Campus apartments. And then my senior year, I moved off campus. I loved all the different places that I stayed. I really got a feel for everything. And like I mentioned, it's a 50-50 split after that sophomore year. So moving off is not going to hold you back, or staying on is not going to hold you back. Everything is pretty much walkable. So even if you are living off campus, those apartments are right next to campus. You can walk through campus. You won't have to be like miles away from the university.
And the Greek houses, I assume, are technically categorized as on-campus housing.
Yeah. Yep. So the Greek houses are on campus. So those, if you are living in a sorority or fraternity house, those again will be walking distance from your classes.
Okay. And my final question is academic related. So I know about y'all through Newhouse and Maxwell primarily from the grad school perspective, like for public affairs, public policy, journalism, all that. For those students that that really like that as a potential vocation, right? Are there options for them while either applying to Syracuse as an undergrad or as they go through that process to as like almost like an accelerated program for certain master's programs, or maybe you'll have a law school, correct? A JD or an MBA, or how does that work for those students that kind of already have that plan crystallized and they want to kind of get a jump on that process?
Yeah, definitely. So we have different programs that are 4+1. We have quite a few. If you just Google Syracuse University accelerated programs, a whole list of them will come up. Some of them being with our law school, some of them being engineering, some of them being a BSMD program. We also have a really great architecture program, which will take you 5 years to get certified. And it's really accelerated. So we have those options. We also have something called the Forever Orange Scholarship, which is really phenomenal if you have students that are looking into a graduate program. So if the student does 4 years with us and then applies to Syracuse's graduate programs that could include the law school, and they're accepted, we will actually give them a scholarship that will cover half of their tuition. So that's called the Forever Orange Scholarship. So that's another great incentive for students who are applying to Syracuse that are also thinking about graduate school.
Okay, great. Thank you. So as you said, on the screen here is some contact information. And if you go on the website, they'll literally have the territories outlined to under each person. So and it's by where the student attends school, not where they're physically located, correct?
Correct.
Okay, great. So on behalf of Julie and myself, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.